Hello again. Here I've got another book. This one's using a company called Albelli. I don't know, Albelli. So for £15, they were offering 50 pages of in a large landscape book, pretty much similar to what I would normally buy from Blurb. The first thing I was immediately struck by was the kind of poor print quality. It's very noticeable. The dots that are used to build up an image are quite visible at around an arm's length. So you get even closer, and it's even more obvious of the lack of quality in comparison to other book production manufacturers like Blurb and Snapfish. Anyway, unlike most other books, I didn't have a concept this time, so I really just went with a bunch of images that were kind of related in some vague sense, and the concept I did come up with was slice, and it was really just a slice of life. So I started with taking a slice of details, and then I pulled out and out and out and out until I had groups of people. So that was the gist of it. But the problem with I mentioned about print quality is really around darkness and shaded areas like the hand. The other hand, as I'm pointing out there, was they look perfectly fine, but the shaded areas and anywhere there was shade, there seems to be a lack of tonal variation or variety. It looks quite flat. It's very weird looking. So the concept continues with more details. We're not looking at faces yet. We're just sticking with details. And this is the guy I see a lot, or used to see a lot when I was in town, who dresses up like Michael Jackson. You can see here he's wearing a glitter glove, and he also has like a belt with, kind of like Michael Jackson from Bad, and he has a hat, and he usually listens to Michael Jackson, although it's not exclusively Michael Jackson on his headphones. So that's another detail. So from one detail to another, this is a picture from New Year out in Kuros or Culross, depending on how you pronounce it. The areas here are not very dark. A lot of black missing from these prints. I was quite surprised actually, because I do think I've got Snapfish prints of this, and they look pretty good. But that was odd. So I'm gonna try and shut up about the print quality. Over here we've got another detail, though there is a whole human in this picture, but it's still a slice of life. It's still a detail slice. We're not really concentrating on people or faces. So moving on for the next picture, another slice of life. This is quite a grainy image, and you can see there's a lot of grain across this. Well, you might not be able to see, but the grainy pictures look a lot better with this print quality than a picture with a lot of subtle tone. Certainly grainy pictures look a lot better. So if you're going to make a book with Albelli, you're going to go with the grainy pictures. They're going to look the best, I think, in this sort of big printing. And here's another super grainy one, and for the first time we're actually going to see someone's face. So that's the start of it, and it's only half a face. So we'll work from here and move on from one half of a human face to half of a dog face, but still a face. So I quite like this picture. So we'll move from this half face picture, and we'll move on to our first actual face, which is an extremely grainy picture. I can't remember what I used to take the picture with. It was a really crappy camera. View camera, I can't remember, not view camera, but viewfinder camera, no rangefinder. So that's one face, so we're going to move on to another. Another one being this guy's face, which looks quite weird printed this size. Of course, you've got to remember these are slices of full-sized pictures, so detail starts to go, but I would expect it to still see some decent detail, but not really seeing it with this print. So on to the next page. I'll got the massive dog head. I quite like that dog. It was absolutely gigantic. Um, and so you've got this slight shadow of another person there, but we're still really focusing on only one face. So, continuing the theme, another single, but we're seeing a bit more. This is Head and Shoulders. I remember this one is during the late nights, when sort of late nights and early mornings where everything was just nighttime, where I would never see Edinburgh during the day. It'd be in work, wake up dark, go to work, come home dark. And I remember just randomly photographing out of my car. This guy looked like a corpse, and it was something I thought was quite interesting. So, moving on again. So I've got a guy in a phone booth. Just sort of standing, chatting, talking, and this is ISO 3200 on a GF1, so it's super noisy, black and white, and it's quite claustrophobic. I think I quite liked the way I used this one in this format because it looks like two pictures, but it's actually all one picture. Just spread across the double page. So that was another thing I wanted to play with the double page look and see what it looked like. Since it's super grainy, it kind of works in this book. If it was anything else, it would have looked pretty nasty. And this was at Christmas when Rory and Larry were here. We were really cool photographers. Anyway, this is the attempt at 3200 during the day, and it actually looks like a black and white picture that's been colorized. It's really weird. The thing about the GF1 is when you ramp it up to 3200, you get lots of weird looking fringing colors, and the shadows are full of red. It's really quite nasty. I went through a phase of quite enjoying it. I think kind of like it, but suits is best for black and white. I think when you get up to 3200. So moving on to the next one. This looks fine. This picture with the more contrast, more higher contrast, especially with the rain on the window. It looks not so bad. Quite like that one. So moving on, and this is quite an old one. It's way back 2012, maybe earlier. Can't remember. The first meet up with the guys that essentially became Grey Skies. So yeah, just black and white. Looks okay. Don't look too closely. Okay, next up, that's taken with the infrared Casio Exclaim that I converted to infrared. It looks absolutely fucking awful. There's just no black, and what black there is so staggered, and it just looks so nasty, so nasty. But there you go. I wanted to really see what pictures would look like from different kinds of cameras, and that just doesn't look good. Moving on quite swiftly, we've got Sony NEX photo, solid blacks, very high contrast. It looks not bad. Yeah, quite liked the spacing of that one. Yeah, quite happy with it. So next one is a lady putting a Hoover in a bin. It's a bit of a strange one, but I saw a lady trundling a Hoover, and I ran after her and said, "Look, sorry, can I take a picture of you putting that in the bin?" It's for an abandonment project, which I'm not sure if I actually did use it for abandoned Edinburgh project. So I took a few snaps and turned this corner here, and there was a couple of what you would refer to as junkies sitting huddling, or drunks, they were just cuddling each other. It was very surreal. But anyway, there you go. So next up, the hen do. This was an exercise for me to try and group more than 3 people in a picture and try and make something dynamic with it. So this is a measly attempt at something like that. But as you can see, I haven't really talked about it, but we're getting further and further into grouping of people and more people together, and we're now seeing full faces and full heads, and so yeah, So we're increasing the number of people in the picture. I also like this weird triangle right there. That was quite strange, but yeah. Yep, and here's something from East Fortune Air Show 2014, 2013, can't remember. Yeah, more people, full length people trying to cut across 2 pages. I wasn't sure if I really framed that right enough. There's a lot of dead space on the left, but anyway, there you go. Experiments, live and learn. I quite liked the grouping there on that page, despite that large empty space. But the space is still, for some reason, is quite attractive. I don't know why. Yeah, I do like that space there. Anyway, but I don't like that. That's annoying. There you go. More people, so more groups. Not much to really say about that. Yeah, guy takes a photo. Yeah. The air show again. Just even more people. Nice collection on the left, and I quite like the big blocking of left and right. It just stagger across the page a bit. Yeah, I like that. It's on the left hand side and in the right wall the women, but and the replication of that. People taking the photograph, but on the left, that guy's ear just doesn't look right. It just looks really, really weird. Not deformed, just didn't print right at all. Getting near the end, even more people here. This is a Kodamatic photo, Kodak Kodamatic camera, made roughly in 1924 for 130 film, I believe. So put a roll of Fomapan 120 through it, and you get this massive long panoramic photo. Yeah, I know. I like this crazy woman in the corner saying, "What the bloody hell are you doing with a camera like that?" And the final page is a messed up IR picture, and it says Slice Simon Kid, date June 2014 or something. And that's the last of it. You get a bit of nonsense at the back, like Snapfish logo, Albelli, or however it's pronounced. Some end pages, and the end of the book. Yeah. Final impressions are binding good, paper good, printing sadly not so good. I would not recommend dark pictures or pictures that are dark with subtle tones or subtle colours. I would recommend bright pictures, contrasty pictures, colourful pictures, or pictures that are got a lot of grain, a lot of noise, film noise especially. Yeah, so there we go. That's the last of the books, I think, for quite some time. I hope it wasn't too boring. Cheers.